At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Northwest Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 479-203-5880, or visit our website at directservicenwa.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
All right, welcome everybody. Let's get this started. 3, 2, 1, yo. Otis Kirk and myself going to do the post-game show. We'll have Dudley Dawson on here in just a little bit. I know a lot of disgruntled fans, a lot of unhappy folks. Just try to keep it respectful, please, in live chat. Do yourself a favor, going over to hogville.net where Otis Kirk and Dudley Dawson will have you guys covered. It's all free. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe here. If you guys have something that needs to be on the screen, I'm going to try my best to keep up with chat. Otis, Arkansas loses yet again at Mizzou. Give me your takeaways and some thoughts.
Well, the Missouri defense was just better than the Arkansas offense today. And then Arkansas's defense just simply didn't play well in the first half. I know Arkansas came out of the first half leading 21-20, but man, they just didn't play well in the first half. The defense didn't, and they were fortunate to be ahead by 1 point. And then, I mean, it was just a game that could have gone either way. It's kind of like Missouri's games have gone. They've won some, they've lost some like that. They won today. They find a way to beat Arkansas every year up there, Ty. I mean, well, one year they beat Chad and them 38-0. That was the one time. The rest of the time, Missouri simply found a way to win the ball game, and you can point. I mean, not you, but I can point fingers at anybody I want to. But the bottom line is, they found a way to win the games up there, and they did again today.
I was surprised. I mean, I knew their defensive line was good, but they weren't exactly great at getting after the quarterback this year. And as much as people want to blame Kendall, and that's what I'm seeing, Otis, it's in our Discord, on Tuss Talk, it's on Twitter. Everyone's blaming Kendall, and I'm sitting here like, did you guys watch the offensive line play today? Because it was atrocious, both pass pro and run blocking.
Yeah, they never ran the ball with any efficiency. And the one time they did, there was a hold, although it was on Jaden, it wasn't on the offensive lineman. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's hard to call plays. I'm not defending Kendall. He doesn't need me to defend him. It's just hard to call plays when you're getting your rear kicked at the line of scrimmage, as you just said. I mean, you just, KJ's getting sacked. He's getting pressured. I mean, I didn't like the quarterback sneak or the sneak with Trey Knox at the 2 earlier in the game when they tried the trick play with Knox on second or third down? I believe second down. I mean, you've got 240-pound KJ. I still say roll him out. I don't know why they're so insistent on going up the middle there. I mean, even with KJ down there on the goal line, and I admit sometimes it works, but man, I mean, I don't know. I don't know that. And that was probably a play to catch them off guard. I get it, but I mean, I like the ball in KJ's hands, but look, when you're getting your rear kicked at the line of scrimmage, it doesn't matter, Ty. I mean, KJ had the ball in his hands quite a bit, and they still lost. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and whine about one play that I might disagree with when they had millions of opportunities to make plays and didn't, and they got beat. Yeah, it's not one person, it's not one coach, one player. It's just, like I said, Missouri found a way to win the game. That's what it was all about. I mean, I don't look at any position. I don't look at running back. I don't look at quarterback. I don't look at offensive line. I don't look at wide receiver, defensive line. I don't look at secondary. Any of those linebackers, any of those positions say they played great today, Ty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any position played.
Here's
very good even.
This is the comment I T-Dub's a friend of the show. He's a friend of both shows, friend of mine, but I just have to disagree with this. Kendall's not the guy out there blocking. The offensive line was not prepared. That's up to Coach Kennedy, right? That's up to that unit to play well as a cohesive unit, and they got absolutely smoked. Yeah. It's really hard to play. It's almost like you're trying to play or dial up the offense with one hand behind your back. Now, I've not been the biggest fan of Kendall Briles at times this year. Some of the play calling, you and I sat here and talked about when they would get on the other side of the field across the 50, the play calling all of a sudden just went up in the air and then east-west. And I've not been the biggest defender, but I don't put this all on him. Does he share some blame? Sure. But no, I think the offensive line greatly handcuffed this offense.
I mean, I don't know how you can blame Briles and not blame Odom. I mean,
especially to begin the game. Yeah, that's true.
Yardage. I mean, they couldn't get stops. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know how you can point to one coach or one player and play. And I know one thing fans can always gripe about. I remember Arkansas would get beat. I'm just giving an example, 48-45 maybe. And I was on the sports rant with Chuck Berry. They call in that Tuesday gripe about the offensive coordinator. Arkansas needs an offensive coordinator. They got beat. They scored 40-something points and got beaten. And nobody talks about defense because everybody understands if the play works, it was a good call. If it doesn't work, it was a bad. And they don't understand defense like they understand offense. And that's why a lot of people do that. And look, it's just, but as Ty said, you can be the greatest offensive coordinator in the world, whoever these people consider the greatest. If the offensive line's not getting any push and not protecting the quarterback, it's hard as heck to call plays, guys, that work. I mean, you getting sacked, you're getting no push in the running game. They made Arkansas one-dimensional.
No push.
We talked about this Thursday on Wednesday on the pregame. I'm thinking this is Saturday, but on Wednesday we talked about you can't let Missouri make you one-dimensional. And I said they're going to try to because they're going to take away the run. You and I both talked about that, and that's exactly what they did, Ty. And then and they're not even, like you said, a big sack team. And what they have, 7 today, I believe, or 8, 7 or 8?
I think it was 7. Yeah, it was 7 sacks.
Yeah, I knew it was 7 or 8. I mean,
and 11
right in front of me. I'm sorry. I can't. I think it's silly to put it on one coach or one player. It's easy to say they didn't play well or they didn't. But as far as the coordinator calling plays, when your offensive line is not winning the battle, it's the same way on defense. If their offensive line is whipping your defensive line and they're running it down your throat like the Mississippi State game, there's nothing you can do. I mean, if they're running it down your throat or if they're coming at you, if you're losing the line of scrimmage in the SEC, you're going to lose the game 9 times out of 10.
11 tackles for loss. 11.
Yeah. And what did Arkansas have? 1 or 2, 3, maybe?
I think they ended up with 6 because late in the game they were able to get in the backfield a little bit.
Well, I know it was sporadic. I mean, it was hit and miss with a lot of miss there as far as that. And I don't know, Ty. It's just whatever, man. It's just, I don't know. I
think everyone's scrambling for answers, and I get it. We want to point blame at Sam. We want to point blame at Barry and Kendall and KJ and Ricky and Tykees Crawford came in there and he played like 2 plays and he gave up a sack.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's collectively they didn't look, once again, they didn't look prepared out the gate. That could be something you could look at Sam. You could ask him, okay, you guys once again didn't really look good to start the game off. I think they were held to a field goal in the opening quarter. Or what? No, I think they scored in the opening quarter, didn't they? They had 7.
But when you're not winning the line, I mean, when you can't win the line of scrimmage, I don't know how prepared you can be, Ty. I really don't, because I just think it all goes back to what your quarterback's got to have time. There was no holes for Rocket to run through, or AJ or Rashad.
He had no time to throw that ball. I don't know. Otis and I are not sitting here saying that Kendall doesn't deserve a little bit of
I'm saying everybody does. Every coach, every player. Every coach, every player stepped foot on that field, and that's why I said I went down to positions. I said I don't know how you can say anybody played great. They're even very good. They didn't play very good.
Right, but when you give up 11 TFLs and 7 sacks, guys, I mean, I feel like the blame is being placed. It's all at Kendall's feet, and I don't think that's accurate. No. I just don't. I can't agree with that. Again, they all deserve some criticism. You can look back on Pittman. You can go all the way to Hunter Yurachek if you wanted to. I don't know, but it was not pretty. Well, and like Otis said, they found a way, like always, at least up there anyways. Mizzou found a way to win the ball game. I would ask, this is the question that I have. Year 3, and they're still struggling to beat a 5-6 Missouri football team. Okay. Should Hog fans expect more?
Well, it goes back to this. I mean, I look at Missouri, but I mean, I still go back to looking at the A&M game. What was that, a 4-7 team? I mean, a Liberty team that lost to UConn and Virginia Tech after they beat Arkansas. Mm-hmm. So I mean, this is one of the games I can say that, but I mean, to me, it goes back just as much to A&M and Liberty as it does to this. I think they had 3 losses this season they shouldn't have had. I mean, people ask me about my 9-3 prediction beginning of the season. Look, man, if they beat A&M, Liberty, and Missouri, they're 9-3, just like I picked. I don't apologize for picking them 9-3. I think they should have won those 3 games. But I think the A&M, I mean, Liberty at home, A&M on a neutral field, to me, were bigger disappointments than this game. Missouri seems to always find a way to win in Columbia. And I'm not downplaying this loss, Ty. I'm not downplaying it at all. I'm just saying when you've got Liberty at home and A&M on a neutral field and you're up 14-0, and it's not a good A&M. That's not a typical A&M team. I just don't. This is just another one of the disappointments. I mean, yeah, you probably can expect more, but to me, this is just one of the 3 big disappointments this season. The only game they won that, I mean, I picked them to lose to BYU and they beat them, but whatever. I don't know, man. Yeah, you can expect more, but I don't think it's just a 1-game deal there. I think it's a 3-game. I look at 3 games, and to me, this was the least disappointing to me. And I'm just saying, just me. Of the 3, because I just think
this one or Liberty, you think this was more disappointing than Liberty?
I'm sorry, did I say this was the most disappointing?
I thought maybe I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I think I did. I meant this is the least disappointing of the 3. I'm sorry. No. Liberty and A&M were more disappointed. This was the least of. Yeah, I think I did say this was the least disappointing of the 3. I'm not saying I'm not disappointed, and I'm not saying you're a person's wrong to be disappointed. I'm just saying I look at it. You asked me, should they expect more? And I said I'm looking at a 3-game deal, and this is because this was at Missouri.
Right.
Arkansas never won. And in Columbia, I'd written earlier in the week if they won in 1944, that was in St. Louis. So I was wrong on that. I took somebody else's word and didn't do my research, which I should have.
I didn't know they ever played up there.
They played Missouri and St. Louis in 1944 and beat them 7-6. It was not in Columbia. I'd written that they hadn't won in Columbia since 1944, and that was wrong. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're talking 100 years. I wasn't even this old man wasn't born then. No, I mean, it's just another disappointment to me, I guess is the way to answer your question. Just another disappointment. I mean, it's not the only one this season. I mean, but I was more disappointed in A&M and Liberty games than this. I mean, you had Liberty at home, you had A&M on a neutral field and Missouri at Missouri, Ty. That's why I say this is the least disappointment of the 3. If I can talk, that's what I'd say. The least disappointment of the 3.
I really don't know where I'd put this one. Liberty, I don't know. I kind of feel like year 3, all 3 of those are games you should win. Hindsight being 2020. That's what makes them disappointing. I get it. Losing these 3 games that were, I don't know. One thing I didn't understand about this game too, and someone brought it up in chat, what was something going on with Rocket that we're not aware of? He had 10 carries. I know he only had 47 yards on 10 carries. He did have a 17-yard from the line of scrimmage, his longest run. Why only 10 carries to your best player on your offense besides KJ?
I'm just wondering, and this is me speculating. It's not a fact. It's not I mean, it's not a source. I'm just wondering if they're playing AJ and Rashad, trying to keep them from transferring. I mean, keeping everybody happy. I don't know. I mean, but they've done this in other games. Now at BYU, Sam explained it and blamed it on Rocket's fumble. But today, Rocket didn't have a. Remember, at the BYU game, he sacked quite a bit. Even the announcers were talking about it. But
Rocket did have a fumble. He did. Remember off that. But he fumbled, but we recovered. It went out of bounds.
It went out of bounds, though. But that was on a pass too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on a pass, but he didn't lose it. What I'm saying. He lost one at BYU. Yeah, I say he didn't fumble. He did fumble on a pass play, but they didn't lose it. But I don't know. To me, as you said, you've got a kid that's your best running back. He's got to get more than 10 carries. Yeah. He's got to get more than 10. I mean, yeah, I don't know what that's, and I probably shouldn't say that about AJ and Rashad. I don't. I mean, but I don't know. The reason I say that, and I'm not going to lie to you, I heard an announcer talking about with Georgia. One game I'm home watching Georgia, and the announcers were talking about Kirby Smart said he plays a lot of people because he doesn't want to transfer. And so I'm going back. I'm just thinking, who did Sam learn most of his stuff from was from Kirby. And I know they talk, and maybe that's what it is. I don't know that. And that, like I said, don't say Otis Kirk said that as fact. I said that's not. I haven't talked to anybody about that. I'm just Ty asked me, and I throw a lot of stuff out.
Don't get into Otis's DMs, you guys. Stay out of his DMs. Come on now.
Oh, I've already been hammered today on DMs, man. Before the game ever started. I mean, you report. I mean, you because Musselman shouldn't ever talk to a fan who confronts him on the court. I mean, morons message me about that because they say I'm giving him a pass, and then Miles Slusher quit or left. The way I worded it, I said Miles Slusher left the team. That's how I worded it. I mean, and he wasn't there. He was at home, so he did leave the team. And I mean, I never used the word quit. I said left the team. I was careful how I worded that. And
yeah.
What?
Chat, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Well, I mean, somebody just said they disrespected Missouri all week, and now they're paying for it. Let me tell you, for some reason, Arkansas and Arkansas's fans and in the media too. I'm not going to give the media back. Everybody's looked down on Missouri.
They always have.
And you made that point earlier in the week. I don't know if you were just talking to me or if we were on the pregame when you said that. But I remember you making that comment, and it's true. Everybody kind of looks down on Missouri, yet they pretty much owned. I mean, they've won in Little Rock, and they won. I believe. They won in Fayetteville because they won the last game, beat them a coach here. So I know they did won. I know they won in Little Rock. It was that when Barry Lundy was the interim coach, but they won in Fayetteville because that was beat them his last game here. So they've won it in Arkansas, and Arkansas hasn't won there. So
came back in the second half, if I remember right, that year, and then they went and played Virginia Tech, and it's kind of the same thing. Arkansas got off to a quick start, and then they ended up shitting the bed. Not playing well in the second half. Sorry, this is not Tuss Talk with Ty live. That'll be after this. Tuss Talk with Ty. I'm gonna go grab a bourbon and maybe a cigar, and we're gonna talk this out on the call-in show. You guys can call in.
Your brain, man. Get that bourbon down.
Get the bourbon. Get a little.
This is as hard as I do right here, man. I've got Gatorade, man. That's as hard as I hit.
What do you have in that Gatorade, Otis? What's in there?
Probably a few slobbers, man, because I was slobbering in that game. I was drooling like my bulldog, man. I mean, I was drooling. I'm sitting there wanting something good to happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, not the way Arkansas wanted to finish it. I know people are upset. Otis, I do appreciate you taking time out as always. These post-game games were a lot of fun, man. I enjoyed being up in the booth with you. This was a fun year.
Well, it's just, and we'll do one, I'm assuming after the bowl game, but I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. I mean, you come on here and I know some people thinks we're defending them. I'm not defending, but I'm just not one to scream and holler and point fingers when they win or when they lose. I mean, it's a game. And like I said, I'm putting it on everybody today. Every coach that was up there and every player that played, I'm putting it on all of them.
Yeah,
all of
them. I agree 110%.
I wish there was one position I could tell you that, man, it looked like they played really well. I mean, one position. If I said one, it'd probably be linebacker. That might be it. And
Drew Sanders was phenomenal today. He was great.
That would be the one position. And that's without. There were some holes. I mean, Cook ran wild there for a while. So, I mean, I don't know if even the linebackers played. But that'd be the only group that I could say, hey, they played pretty good. Yeah. Anyway, thanks, Ty, man. Have a good one.
Hey, you too. You too, Otis. I'll talk to you later.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, next up, we've got Dudley Dawson coming in next. Curious what Dudley has to say about this game. Dudley, sir, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Oh, you know, living the dream, I guess.
Well, I've just listened to parts of two or all of Eli Drakewitz and part of Sam Pittman. One thing I will say, Eli Drakewitz is a strange bird, man. I don't know him that well. You know, been around him a little bit, but he celebrated the win by running around like Jim Valvano. Hey, congratulations to them. They really needed that win.
They did.
Then he broke out cigars for all the players in the locker room, and also apparently took a shot. He did take a shot at Chuck Barrett after the game was over on the post-game radio show. He said that I guess some of his people had told him that Chuck said they weren't strong enough in the interior this week on his radio shows. I don't know if that's true or not, but and that he thought he's waiting to hear what Chuck has to say now. So all very interesting stuff. That all being said, Trey Knox, goal line,
That was a weird call.
Sums it up. No. Yeah, the best position on your team, at least on offense, is running back. You're supposed to have a really good offensive line. That was nuts. I don't know that Kendall Browse needs to be fired like everybody else. I don't run around calling for people to be fired. I've been fired a couple times myself. But they've got to make changes. But that was the most ridiculous thing I saw today, I think, among a lot of things where Arkansas didn't play well. But to bring Trey Knox up when you got a 240-pound quarterback, when you got, and it's third down, 240-pound quarterback, when you got or second down, I guess, a 225-pound running back. You've got linemen that you've praised throughout, and you this is a trick play, no, and no one play cost them the game.
No,
but that was just sheer stupidity from my viewpoint, and apparently from a lot of the fans.
It was bad. It was really bad. I'm with you. I don't think any one play, but we've seen that. I mean, we sit here and wonder why they were so bad in the red zone this year. It is stuff like that makes you scratch your head.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other thing I wanted to toss out there, Coach Pittman was asked right away. That so-called Arkansas media didn't ask tough questions. I don't know if you've heard that. But
I think I've heard that a little bit.
Right away, the question was asked about Miles Slusher. Obviously, during the ball game, it was reported that the UA had said that Miles Slusher quit. Miles Slusher came on Twitter after that, said he did not quit. That's not really what he's all about. He deleted it soon afterwards, but there's, Andrew Hudson and others have the screen grab. I guess you young kids call it. But right after the ball game, he was asked about it, and Coach Pittman's response was that Miles Slusher came to him on Sunday. They sat down and they talked about it, and then he said that he was ready that Miles said he was ready to not be a part of the team anymore. So that's it. Miles can answer if he wants to. He did delete his tweet after he did it. I sometimes do this myself, but it's always best not to hit send until you talk to somebody else about it, or at least go through a thought process. And I know he reacted, but there's the two stories that Arkansas says he quit. He says he didn't.
Very bizarre situation, because we know he got into some trouble on Dixon Street not that long ago. As you've said, as many people have said, including Baker Mayfield, Dixon Street will get you.
Yep. Let's talk about it one more time, though. Again, I just hadn't seen the full video. I'm not going to get on the police. That's not what I do.
Yeah.
Anyway, but having been somebody who has been on Dixon Street during his young life when he didn't need to, I go back to time and place. And I know there's been a lot said about what the police did and all that, but time and place, don't put yourself in that position. Whether you support the blue or you think they do bad things sometimes, again, don't put yourself in that position.
Yeah. This is a bizarre. I tried a lot of negative in comment right now. Like, it's hard to find a good comment to just throw up on the screen because I don't want to just regurgitate some of this, but this is a bizarre one. I have no evidence. I don't know if you do. Do you know of this turning into a Morris style locker room and then Hunter needs to step down or step in if Pittman won't?
The Arkansas locker room didn't like Chad Morris. The Arkansas locker room likes, loves, and respects Sam Pittman. So if that's the parallel they're trying to draw, that is not the deal. As far as people leaving the team, and there's going to be plenty on Monday. Just get ready, and it's not going to just happen here. It's going to happen all over the place. But I talked to the players enough off the record and on the record. This is in no way a Chad Morris situation. Here's everything you need to know about today's game. Eli Drinkowitz, once they won the ball game, was absolutely thrilled. Cigars, probably opened up their version of Club Dub, bringing Chad Morris back. Arkansas is bitterly disappointed. Its fans are disappointed. Missouri's fans are thrilled. Missouri's had more success, really, since they got into the SEC. But what you have right now is an Arkansas fan base bitterly disappointed and a Missouri fan base thrilled. That tells you all you need to know right there.
Yeah. Yeah, this is someone texted me and said this is kind of like their Super Bowl. I don't know if I would go that far, but they certainly do take this as a rivalry, as manufactured as it is. I've made fun of this rivalry for years because it's an SEC manufactured rivalry. But there's something to taking it serious. There's something to it. Now, I'm not saying Pittman didn't take it serious, but it certainly seems like over the years, no matter who the coach is, doesn't matter who the coordinator is, doesn't matter the players on the field, this means more to Mizzou than it does Arkansas.
Yeah, it's clear. And Arkansas has one win during that time, and they still don't have a win in Columbia. They did have one in 1944 in St. Louis.
St. Louis, yeah. Otis corrected himself on. I didn't know that. I didn't know they ever even played in St. Louis.
Yeah. Well, thanks for reading the predictions, man.
Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't read. Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't read.
Yeah, but here's the deal. I just think that Missouri played with urgency. Missouri's overall defensive line played. I think even Coach Pittman went into halftime, and that's why they came back out throwing more. He said they were getting physically whipped up front. That's been a comment that has come along these last few games. After the offensive line we thought was really experienced, thought played well. Now, they have had some injuries, but it hadn't been that. It's just not been getting it done. I thought the defense played great against LSU. I thought the defense played great against Ole Miss, and to a certain extent gave their team an opportunity to win against Liberty. But it was just not there in the first half today. Whatever changes they made in the second half certainly made it happen a little bit better. I think both teams had 34 yards of offense in the third quarter.
It was low.
Yeah,
it was. If it was anything, I think it was taking Sanders off the line of scrimmage and spying Cook. I think it's probably what.
Absolutely. Anything you should want to go out and win a football game, no matter what, no matter if there's any consequences or whatever. But you may have just played yourself out of a trip to Florida or Las Vegas and played yourself into one in Birmingham or somewhere similar.
Yeah. Well, I asked Otis. I want to get your take on this. Rocket had 10 carries tonight. 10 carries. I mean, this is a guy that was bidding, and I don't care about the SEC leading rusher. I don't really care about that. Whatever. Congrats to a true freshman over at Ole Miss who's darn good. Congrats. I don't care about that. Your star running back had 10 carries tonight, Dudley. I don't know what to make of that. And meanwhile, KJ runs the ball 19 times, mostly off of reads. Rashad Dubinion had more than half the carries tonight between him and Rocket. What do you make of that? What's going on with his usage? We've seen this before at times too earlier in the year.
I don't know, and that's a question that needed to be answered after the game, or needs to be asked during the post game. I know they really like R-Dub, as they call him. Obviously, Jimmy Smith was his coach back in the day. I think he has done some really good things. You go back to Dominique Johnson. You wish that he hadn't gotten hurt before the year started and during the year started. But would they still have gone? Would they have let him have the ball on the goal line there, or Trey Knox coming over? And I'm not blaming Trey Knox at all. No. And you do it in the middle of the field in a game you're way ahead of. That's cool. But it was not the play down there. I believe when I came on, y'all were talking. Otis was talking about how everybody shares the blame. Yeah, there's plenty of culpability to go around here. The thing doesn't need to be completely blown up, but there's things that need to happen. I'm sure that Coach Pittman, who we try out as a nice guy, is a nice guy, but he's also fired 5 guys over the last two plus years. So I think if he thinks he needs to get better in different areas, he will. I don't think that'll be a problem. He's not happy with 6-6. The fans are not happy with 6-6. Missouri is happy with 6-6.
They're thrilled. They're thrilled, and they beat their rival, the Arkansas Razorbacks. They're thrilled. They got the trophy back. Pittman didn't win any trophies this year. I would say, is it in your estimation? Is it fair to say? And I know this is kind of fan speech a little bit. Is it fair to say they took a step back in 2022?
Yes, underachieved. I truly believe that, especially when you start out 3-0 and you beat a Cincinnati team that was pretty good. You should have beat a Texas A&M team that wasn't very good. I had it 7-5. I never was on the 9 or 10 bandwagon, but they didn't get to 7-5 and lost games that I didn't think they would have. This game, I didn't think they should have lost. Shouldn't have lost to A&M. Shouldn't have lost to Liberty. There are many things to correct. I saw someone said all the homers will say 6-6 if they played hard and did really good. No. First of all, I'm not a homer. Second of all, no. Especially as I get older, I say what I mean. Disappointing end of the season. Nobody should be happy. The only good thing that I see about this season, if you want to break it down in a nutshell, is they're going to get 15 extra practices. And whoever is left on this football team, because there's going to be some heading out the door that and again, it's going to happen all over the place. Drinkwitz talked about this, as well. You're going to have the people that want to be here. You're going to get these 15 practices in, and a lot of people who seem to have not gotten the chance to play as much as they could have, such as Isaiah Satega. I suspect we'll see a lot of them in the bowl. It is going to be more of especially with Bumper out, some others injured, it's going to be more of a vision of next year than it is going to be this year. Although obviously you'll have a lot of portal guys coming in, and you'll have a lot of guys that are here going out.
Yeah. Going to be some opt-outs too, I think, going into this bowl game. That's something that people are going to have to consider. This is why I'm not going to get into that. I won't go down that rabbit hole, but
no, say it, man. It's just, it's the deal these days. If there's not a prize at the end, today's society says, why should I risk it? Some of these guys, I wouldn't be surprised that I don't know Drew Sanders well enough to.
He's not going to play.
Yeah, but I wouldn't think he would. If
he's not going to play. There's no way.
If his name was Drew Dawson, he wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't blame anybody. And this is why I want the expansion of the playoffs. This is one of the reasons. How many players have opted out in playoff games? I really don't think there's been one. Not that I can think of. You had what's his name at Oregon opt out, Thibodeau, that defensive end, first round pick, number 1 pick top 3 pick in the draft, if I remember right.
But it wasn't really for the bowl; it was for the end of the season.
It was, yeah, and he was injured. He was coming off an injury, and they weren't in the playoffs anyways. My fear about this is that it's going to stretch into the regular season, that players get a little dinged up and they're just like, that's it, I'm done. I'm not going to risk it. That's my fear about opt-outs, but I don't blame anybody for doing it. I've been on a pedestal about that, but at the same time, it's made bowl season. It's just hard to care about bowl season when a team's not at least close to full strength. That used to be the advantage. Well, you've had 3 or 4 weeks to lick your wounds, Now it's like, well, you survived the onslaught of opt-outs. Like that's what you're going to have to look forward to. But I think, I don't see Drew Sanders playing. I wonder about Ricky Stromberg. I know it's easy to say, well, he doesn't seem like the type of guy. Yeah, but we saw offensive linemen opt out last year, not at Arkansas, but at other schools. Guys who weren't first-round draft prospects.
KJ Jefferson, who knows?
KJ Jefferson is another one. And if people think it's guaranteed that he's staying, I don't know. I want to know who your inside guy is. I want to know how KJ, how you have his number, because I don't know anybody that knows except KJ whether or not he's going to stick around for another year, especially with what happened to Hendon Hooker. And that's got to have an impact on him one way or another, whether it was, completely different situation. But still, he got hurt and he's done, right? And that may have an impact on his draft grade. So money matters. And it would to me too. Listen. Ty Hudson over here is kind of paycheck to paycheck in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're damn right. Money's going to matter. I completely
I'll go maybe free, but Dudley's not working for free.
Ty's not working for free. That's for damn sure. Any more takeaways? Anything else? I thought, I know we're not supposed to harp on any positives. I know we're not supposed to do that. That's against the rules. We got to talk about how horrible they were the whole time. But Cam Little was 2 for 2. He hit a 46-yarder. He was perfect on extra points. Yay. I mean, I'm trying to look for positive.
I heard Jake Bates is the long field goal kicker. That's Rick Neuheisel, who had an interesting ball game.
He did.
He said Jake Bates was the long field goal kicker. I believe I'm right in assessing the fact that Cam Little has taken every field goal since he showed up on campus. So what?
Yeah.
I mean, that's some bad info there. But he'll be on Auburn and Alabama studio tomorrow, I hear. So if you want to hear some great insights, I'm just messing with you, Rick.
KJ's got to stay. Yeah, tell us about it. Yeah, you're in real trouble. I don't know what they're going to do if KJ goes, man. It's going to be portal. We know that.
Well, let's just point out there that Jacoby Criswell. We'll see. There's certainly some smoke around that.
Yep.
He was already following me on Twitter, but he has followed a lot of Arkansas people here recently. Drake May is, North Carolina's quarterback and is going to be the next 2 seasons as well, I think, before he goes pro. He's had an outstanding season. By the way, if you haven't read the North Carolina State head coach Dave Doran's what he said during his interview during the game about how he hates North Carolina. They downgraded them on the recruiting trail, and he could give a what about them.
Whoa.
That's fun. Now that's a rivalry.
I love it. That's great. Wow. Yeah, that's real. That's for real. I have ACC friends, or I had an ACC friend, he's a big Clemson guy, told me that there are some underrated rivalries in that conference.
Yeah.
Maybe that's one of them. I don't know. That's nuts.
Most of my good friends are ADHD, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, I'm ADHD. I am for sure. I
just back in the day, they used to tell my parents I just didn't pay attention and didn't have fancy letters and description for it. He just can't sit still. He just can't pay attention.
Yeah. Well, I was on that riddle in life for like 2 years, first and second grade. First grade the second time, and then and then made honor roll one semester. I remember being thrilled about that. All right. Next up, we will do Tuss Talk with Ty call-in show. That's coming up. I know you guys got a lot to say. You're going to get your opportunity. The link will be shared in Discord and in the chat. Dudley, thank you so much, man, for taking a little time out of your evening to sit and chat about this disappointing end of the season, sir.
And now I will sit down and type up Mr. Eli Drinkwitz's interesting answers. And
I promise I'll read it. I promise I'll read it. For this week, I've been so busy with Thanksgiving and everything. Well, not completely Thanksgiving, but other stuff too. Just have not had a chance to read anything. I missed my picks on Mark Rogers.
You know how it is. Thanksgiving is for family and cigars, apparently.
Well, I am a connoisseur of cigars, but Drinkowitz apparently is a real big fan, and so much so that after beating Arkansas, so everyone on the team got a cigar, and everyone on the staff.
He said, that's what he said. Hey, and one call I'm going to make before too long is to Chuck Berry.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting conversation. I'm curious.
Rivalries. Maybe we got one going now. Clarksville and Alma.
Yeah. Oh man, too much.
And guys, look, if you see me here smiling, I'm sorry that I can't be more disappointed that Arkansas lost and all that. I'm disappointed for you guys, but it's a game, man. It's a game. It's a business.
It is.
And I wish for y'all that Arkansas would go on 7-5, and maybe I wish when we go to a bowl game, and we, as in the Hogville staff, not the University of Arkansas, go to a bowl game, that they would have won and I would be in Vegas instead of Birmingham or something. But it's going to be okay. Mix with your family this weekend, have a good time, get back in it next week.
That's right. And basketball, fortunately, I think is going to be okay, and baseball is going to be great. Can't wait to talk to you about some baseball. I'm going to say it now. I'm going to call it right now. I think Arkansas is going to the Texas Bowl. I'm feeling Texas Bowl. That's what I'm feeling.
Texas could be interesting. Who would play for Texas? Who would play for Arkansas? It's good.
Yeah, it'd be a fascinating rematch. All right, Dudley, I appreciate it, man.
All right, go Hounds.
Take it easy, man.
We're playing at Charleston tonight.
Yeah, yay. Oh, that's weird. I'm having a moment here. That's strange. I had a new. Okay. Anyways. All right. Thanks a lot. I'll talk to you again, I'm sure, next week, and we'll talk. We'll get caught up, and we'll talk a little bit about the bowl game too. So
sounds good. Like that hat.
Oh yeah, the one you gave me after the season.
They're 1-1 since you got the hat though. So
yeah, that's true. They are 1-1. Maybe I need to not ever wear the hat again because they won last time I wore this hat. All right. I'll talk to you next week, Dudley.
Later, man.
All right. Tuss Talk with Ty coming up next. You guys want to call in, you're going to have your opportunity. I don't know how long that show will go on for, but hey, if we get some interesting calls, it may go on for a little bit. Just pointing into the season. So we'll talk. We'll get into it some more coming up. Tuss Talk with Ty. You guys stick around. Well, not here. Obviously, you got to go to Tuss Talk, but I'll see you over there.